Hey, what's up guys? John here. An absolute nightmare just came to Los Angeles. Just announced, get ready to prove that you've been, if you want to eat at LA or WeHo restaurants, West Hollywood restaurants. It's a lot deeper than that. It's not just restaurants. Get ready to flash your card because it's gotten a lot harder to eat out in LA if you have not complied. This morning, the LA City Council passed a sweeping ordinance requiring customers to show proof to go inside businesses such as restaurants, bars, stores, movie theaters, and museums. Stores. What is the definition of a store? Just so everyone is very clear, a retail establishment selling items to the public. That's every business. Every single business will be forced to comply with this, and if you don't, things get really bad for that business. The measure, which won 11-2, heads to LA Mayor Eric Garcetti. Is expecting to sign it, which he did, possibly as soon as today. The law will take effect 30 days after his signature. The ordinance has a few exemptions. People who claim to have a medical or religious reason for not getting it can provide a negative test taken within the previous 72 hours. These tests are only going to go up in price because there is no other alternative. If you do not have the test, you have to comply. And for the people that don't want to comply, they have to keep writing that check, paying whatever it will be. I think these tests could probably go to $100 or more per test because they're building out a monopoly on these tests. They're going to control the market. There's only going to be a few companies that are going to offer the test, and those companies together are likely going to keep the price very, very high. Businesses that don't enforce the rules are subject to increasing penalties, a warning for the first violation, a $1,000 fine for the second, and a $5,000 fine for the fourth violations. The fines go into effect November 29th. Although this ordinance only applies to businesses within the city of LA, and localities in LA County can impose their own rules. Starting Thursday, October 7th, the city of West Hollywood is requiring certain kinds of covered businesses, food and drink establishments, fitness facilities, and personal care establishments to ask patrons who are 18 or older to show proof they've had at least one. And here's where it really gets bad. Starting Thursday, November 4th, patrons 18 and older, as well as employees, will have to prove that they've fully complied. So, and it gets bad because when they say that roughly 40% of Los Angeles has yet to comply, this isn't my number. This is their number, LA Times. 40% have not yet complied. So 40% have not yet complied, meaning 40% have a decision to make. Are they going to comply? Okay, and if they do, great. But not all 40% will. Maybe 1 out of 4 will. So if that does happen, you still have 30% less employees. So you have 30%, hypothetically, 30% less employees, and all these new health regulations that are coming in right now, increased minimum wage, increased taxes, things are gonna get really bad. And in this video, I'm gonna break down where I see the economy and where I see housing prices, real estate prices, and everything going in Los Angeles. We need to keep a really close eye on all these markets where this happens because everything is resetting. The entire economies are getting reset in every single one of these markets, and smart investors are paying very close attention to exactly what's going on. So please smash that like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content with more people to educate more people about what's really going on. So please smash the like button. Let's begin. Here's what I see happening right now. The rents are sky high. Rents are sky high, and the reason that they're sky high is the economy is good. At least it's perceived to be good. People think real estate's booming, jobs are great, I'm working from home, everything is fine. But what is very likely to happen is the economy is going to contract like a boa constrictor. And when that does, what's going to happen? Small businesses are going to get choked out. We have increased minimum wage of $15 per hour. We have increased taxes, and we have these new shipping delays where it's taking longer to get goods and services. Prices are simply just out of control. These chicken wings, $15. $15 for these chicken wings. This was $7. This was $7, $8 last year. This is where prices are going. So if prices are going there, How can rents stay the same if wages aren't increasing with it? Now look at this right now. Amazon, they don't own any ships, but they're getting cargo planes. You have Home Depot, reserved its own ship. You have Walmart has direct investing in shipping. All of these big conglomerates, Target, same thing. They're going to be able to get through without these mandates that are hitting all the other vessels, clean distribution in and out. So what is going to likely happen is they can keep their prices lower than what small business can. Because small business right now in LA, this is what they're dealing with. Eric Garcetti, supplemental sick leave, and how this works is that an employee who has been employed for 60 days with the same employer is entitled to supplemental paid sick leave if the employee is unable to work or telework. An employee who works at least 40 hours per week or is classified as a full-time employee by an employer shall receive 80 hours of supplemental paid sick leave. Now, if someone tests positive, they have to notify the entire office if they've come in close contact. So when they come in close contact, what this means is that they have to identify all close contacts and everyone has to get tested. And then if anyone else tests positive, they have to get paid sick leave as well. So we add in, if it's $15 an hour minimum wage, and they're working 40 hours a week, that's $600 times 2 weeks. You have to give them $1,200, and you lose the employee. So you have to pay them $1,200 and then pay someone else $1,200 to take over their spot. That's a $2,400 loss on every single employee. Now, when you have small businesses, people now, they don't want to work like they used to work because no one's really had to with unemployment benefits and the stimulus packages and everything that's been coming out. We've built out unfortunately, more of a lazy society than what we had a couple of years ago. So this is only going to fuel more insecurity for small businesses. And they have to pay, every single employee has to verify. So you have to have one employee that goes and verifies every single customer that comes into the store. This is going to be a big problem for small business. To me, Los Angeles is always a beautiful place because of all the amenities that are offered. You can go surfing and snowboarding the same day. You could do anything in LA. But now, tourism is dying. And who is tourism going to hit the most? Which companies? Which industries? Restaurants, hotel chains, all the service industries, basketball games, arenas, Disney World. I mean, you look at this. New reports, Anaheim. A new report found the attendance at theme parks across Southern California declined more than 80% year over year, highlighting the sudden and drastic impact of the pandemic government shutdowns on the theme park industry. These brothers here, they said that they had a loss of 25% in their business. So they have 25% loss in their business. How can this continue to maintain for small business? And this is the question we all have to ask ourselves. If you're thinking about buying real estate, think about investing, you got to ask yourself the core fundamentals. How will rents stay the same? How can they stay the same? What I'm seeing is very likely to happen is I think we're going to have a big reset in all of the rents, both apartment rents and commercial rents. You think about how big of an impact this is and what this will really do. Now, if this business is 25% less profitable, if the rents don't drop by at least 25% and they don't drop more than that, then they would make exactly what they would have made before all this happened. Is the landlord going to decrease rent 25%? Probably not. And the reason being is because that landlord, like most landlords, is probably only making 5, 8, or 10% on their overall investment. So they'd be losing 15%, roughly 15% every single time they got paid. And the landlord would essentially go bust and they'd lose their property. So what is very likely to happen is we're going to see a commercial real estate crash. We're going to see rents have to go way, way, way down, which is good. A lot of people will be happy about that. But unfortunately, most landlords are going to get wiped out in that process because they're only gaining 3 to 5 to 6% on their properties in LA. If their rents drop by, say, 15, 20, 25%, all those landlords get wiped out. Then what we have to take into consideration is if all of these landlords are getting wiped out And we have small business that's getting wiped out. And we have big corporations like Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Amazon, all these big corporations that have their own shipping facilities that have fixed the market. What's ultimately going to happen? These very companies and companies like them will go out there and acquire all the properties. Then we take into consideration what Gavin Newsom signed into law about 18 months ago, 17 months ago. He signed into law SB 1079, which gives the state of California and a few different others the option to go out there and buy all foreclosed properties throughout California. So all of these small business owners are getting pushed to the brink of collapse, and then they're getting really priced out. They're getting priced out because they can't compete with these big corporations, so they're getting priced out, and then they come back in, and then they take over their properties. It's crazy. It is. It's absolutely crazy. But, on this channel, I want to be 100% honest with everybody. I don't want to mislead and say, oh, the economy is great. This is great. This is great. We have so much uncertainty because we don't know if this is the beginning of the problems or if this is the end of the problems. And most people think that this is where it ends. I believe this is probably where it begins. I believe there's going to be a ton of change coming very, very soon. We're seeing it now, but very, very soon. And a lot of people are going to get hurt in the process. But the smart investor is aware of what's happening. The smart investor sees the big problems that are coming. They know that this regulation and all these changes, all these new mandates are going to cripple most businesses. And you have to ask yourself, how can everything stay the same if everyone's income is falling and everyone's independence is falling? It really can't. Because when job independence falls, then we could have a situation like a universal basic income, where a universal basic income will essentially set the rental rates. And then more dependence, and then why not California just own all the properties? Because it seems like that's kind of the direction that we're going, where California could own a large block of the housing stock in the next 2-3 years. It's pretty crazy. It seems unattainable. It seems unrealistic. But this is the direction that we're going in. California, especially Los Angeles, is a very, very expensive place. And if you cannot enjoy the amenities and you can't go out freely, and tourism is dying, and the cost to get goods and services are only increasing, you're going to have a city that's going to be less attractive than it's ever been. And at that point, why pay all the money if you don't get to enjoy all the benefits? What do you think about all this? Do you think we're going to see a massive crash in California, especially LA? Drop your comments below, smash the like button, subscribe here. Also consider subscribing to my personal channel. I'll leave the link pinned down below in the top comment. See you guys in the next video.